I found your letter after 7 years. 7 years is a long time, long enough for everything to change, for the person who wrote it to have become someone different, and for the person reading it now to have become someone the writer never knew. 7 years of living between the writing and the reading, 7 years of mornings and losses and ordinary days that accumulated into this person holding this letter today. I want to be honest about what finding it was like, the specific feeling of encountering something from the past that was meant for you, that was written with you in mind, that carries the handwriting, the specific pressure of the pen, the particular word choices of someone who sat down 7 years ago and tried to say something true to you, something they needed you to know, something that felt urgent enough to write down, to commit to paper in the permanent way that writing commits things. I found it and I held it before I read. It held it as an object, as the physical thing. It is paper that someone touched 7 years ago, words that someone chose 7 years ago, intention that someone carried 7 years ago when they sat down to write this to you. Before reading it, I held it and thought about time, about what 7 years contains, about all the living that happened between the writing and this moment of finding, about who I was when this was written and who I am now reading it. Those are different people in important ways, and yet here I am holding something written for the earlier version of me, something that was waiting all this time in whatever place letters wait when they are not found, not read, not received in the moment they were intended for. I read it slowly, the way old letters deserve to be read, not scanned, not processed quickly, but received word by word, sentence by sentence, the way the person who wrote it word by word, choosing each one carefully or quickly in the urgency of what they needed to say. I do not know which they were, careful or urgent, both, perhaps both at once, the way significant things often are, both the need to say it right and the need to say it now, before the moment passes, before the courage passes, before something changes that makes the saying feel less possible. I read it and I want to tell you what was in it, what 7 years ago someone needed me to know, what they sat down and committed to paper with whatever they had at that time, whatever understanding, whatever feeling, whatever honest account of what was real for them in that specific moment. That is now 7 years in the past, 7 years gone into the permanent record of what has already happened, what cannot be changed, what is simply true. Now, as fact, as history, as the specific sequence of events that produced where we both are now, the letter said things I needed to hear then, and some of what it said I still needed to hear now, which surprised me, which made me understand something about how certain true things do not become less true with time, how certain honest observations about who you are or what you need or what was real between two people hold across years, hold through all the changing and becoming and moving forward and arriving at new versions of yourself. Some things remain accurate, remain the honest account, even after everything that happened between the writing and the reading, even after 7 years of living that the writer did not know about, could not have anticipated when they wrote it. The letter said, I know you more than you thought I did. And reading it 7 years later, I believe that I believe the writer saw something clearly, something I was not always sure I was letting be seen, something I may have been managing the visibility of in the way we manage what we show of ourselves to people we care about, because caring about someone makes us want to appear well to them, makes us want to show the version that holds up under their regard. The letter said they saw through that, saw the version underneath, and found that version worth knowing, worth saying something honest to, worth the effort of sitting down and writing what could not be said in the moment. For whatever reason it could not be said, then I want to think about why it was not delivered, why the letter existed and waited and was not given, not received, not read until now, because that question matters. That question contains something real about what was happening between two people who cared enough about each other to write, and not enough, or not in the right way, or with not enough courage, or too much fear, or too much of whatever it is that keeps honest things in the drawer rather than in the hands of the person they were written for. Maybe the moment passed, maybe it felt too late. Once certain other things happened, maybe the courage that produced the writing did not extend to the giving. Maybe the letter was itself the thing that